There's a new way for you to experience your favorite books and movies, and that's Fiction Fixation Podcast.
We know you have a ton of podcasts on your roster.
But what are you supposed to do while you wait for the next episode? Sit with your thoughts like a sociopath?
Absolutely not. We would never let you do that. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Rose.
Every week, we bring you hilarious recaps of your favorite books and movies.
You can expect the classic millennial dark humor and unfiltered, intrusive thoughts.
Listen to Fiction Fixation wherever you get your podcasts.
Tolerators, this is To All the Men I've Tolerated Before with Natalie Katona, your weekly look at everyday misogyny. Today we have some new friends with us on the show. Courtney and Rose are the hosts of the podcast Fiction Fixation. Yes, my lisp and my stutter made me practice that all day long as I drove home from the Nelly concert. Fiction Fixation promises some great movie recaps from a unique perspective and with immersive storytelling. They're hilarious. I'm so excited to have them here today. Thank God for TikTok. We're talking about romantic comedies. Thanks for being here, Courtney and Rose.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Why don't you, since you're first timers, just tell the audience a little bit about you and how this all started?
Yeah, Courtney.
So we're the hosts of Fiction Fixation. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Rose.
And we do movie and book recaps, mostly movies.
Yeah, it really is like watching a movie in your head. So whether or not you've seen the movie, when you listen to our episodes, we're storytellers. We're both authors. And so it's a very immersive experience. You're going to, put your headphones on. You're going to be at work with a spreadsheet on your computer, and your boss doesn't know that you're actually completely 100% disassociating and just watching a movie in your head with your best friends, because that's what it feels like.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to do anything in silence, because that's what Ted Bundy did, and you see what happened to him.
Yeah, we're trying to save the world with disassociation.
We're always trying to escape our inner thoughts and monologue.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you ever tried sitting in silence for 5 minutes? It's horrifying.
Don't sit alone with your thoughts.
Never.
Don't do it. They're intrusive at best.
Mm-hmm. And dangerous to the world at worst.
Yeah. Well, then also you start thinking about men. I mean, not everyone, probably not Natalie, right?
No, I still often think about them because I do have to keep the show going. But I do often go, and then I don't perceive you.
She thinks about their demise.
Yes.
Yeah. Gotcha. Just plotting.
Just plotting, complaining, trying to find the misogyny that everyone told me existed in the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders documentary, when I was like, I don't understand. It felt really like good sisterhood. And they're like, no, Natalie, no. But that's a different episode. We're here to talk about rom-coms.
Mm-hmm.
What are our overall feelings about rom-coms? I, as you know, am kind of a hater.
Yeah. Just a little cynical. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I'm always like, the story isn't that great. The comedy is usually just a lady falling, which is not funny when I fall. It's embarrassing. And it becomes an intrusive thought for decades about, like, remember that time you fell? Do you remember?
It's only funny if you fall if you're like 5'2", blonde, and weigh 105 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's,
sure.
It's only funny when you fall when you're adorable. Like, it's not funny when we fall either.
No.
Well, we're also not falling into the arms of a billionaire. We're kind of just falling in the middle of the grocery store.
We're not being tripped by, our neighbor's dog and falling into, his lap.
Yeah. I had a possible potential romantic comedy moment yesterday on my road trip home. I went to Culver's. If you'd like to sponsor us, let us know, but I'm about to talk shit. And they gave me Diet Coke instead of Coke. And I was like, I'll cry for the rest of this car trip if this is what's going to happen. So I parked I went in, I dumped the Diet Coke, I got myself a regular Coke, and I got back in my car. And while I was like drinking said Coke, because I'm a moron, I didn't put the lid on correctly. So that Coke just cascaded into my lap and my car
Oh,
seat and my
no.
steering wheel. And I did think,
Oh no.
I was like, Glenn Powell's supposed to run across a parking lot with napkins for me right now. If only I was blonde.
Well, what you're describing is called a meet cute, and we love a
Yeah.
good meet cute. Meet cutes fall into very specific categories.
hmm There is the category where you can eat shit.
As in fall, not literally.
Yeah. 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 I'm sorry. I thought that was universally known. You can eat shit and fall.
Mhm.
You can spill something all over yourself.
Right. Particularly when you're wearing white, like a white
Yes.
t-shirt.
Wearing white is definitely a plus, and it definitely gives you bonus points.
Yeah.
And then there's the combination where you can spill something all over yourself while you're falling into him.
Anyone but you changed it up and instead just had Sydney Sweeten really need to pee and everyone ignore her needs. And I was
But
like,
she did spill water on herself though, and she had
In
to
the
like take
bathroom.
off her pants.
Yeah.
yeah. You know? And I did sit there and I got out of the car to, clear the ice from the seat that I was going to have to sit in for the next 2 hours. And I was like, I just wanted to be caffeinated. I really wanted a milkshake, but the person in the drive-thru did not hear me say milkshake, and I wasn't going to fight with anybody. I did mention it to the guy, and he went, I can't believe she missed that. And I was like, no one's offering me anything for free. My soda's wrong. My milkshake is non-existent. It's not my day. And then I immediately dumped my soda all over myself. And I was like, I saw Twisters. Where's Glenn?
When I was pregnant with my now 12-year-old, I went through it was with my now 12-year-old. I went through the Dairy Queen drive-thru on my way to work one morning, and all I wanted was a brownie batter blizzard. And they said, I'm sorry, we don't do blizzards at 7:45 a.m.
Then why are you open?
She was kind of like judgy. And I was like, she's like, if you wanted to come back at 10:30, bitch, if I could come back at 10:30, I wouldn't be out of the house at 7:45 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, you don't do blizzards at like in the morning? She's like, no, we serve breakfast during breakfast hours. First of all, I don't like your condescending fucking tone and I'll fucking cut you. So then I just went to work and cried the whole way home.
Oh.
You know how I know misogyny is real? Because Ben and Jerry's took away the brownie batter ice cream that they used to sell in the early aughts.
It's
fucking
like
cunts.
Well, it's like they don't know their demographic, It's like, who do you think is eating this?
Yeah, who the fuck is consuming the blizzards? Us.
And, well, then also, who's eating these ice creams by the pints? Like, it's us.
It's us.
Yeah.
Give the bitches what they want.
My mom used to do pint dinner where me, her, and my sister would get our separate pints. And then we would watch TLC on Friday nights. It was Trading Spaces, What Not to Wear, all of it. And then Lost DVDs and Grey's Anatomy DVDs.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. That's a long ass night, though.
That is a long ass night. And also, like, shout out to moms who are like, we can have a sheet cake for dinner. Who cares?
That's amazing.
That is amazing. That honestly would have been a much better solution to my problems tonight than what I did.
Honestly. Also, I would rather a rom-com be that my Uber driver, my Uber Eats, brought me a sheet cake instead of a real meal, and we just split it together.
Oh my gosh.
That's cute.
You know what?
Make it happen, Natalie.
You order Uber Eats, and then the guy's like, I Googled your name and I saw your profile and I saw your latest update about how you had a rough day. And I thought to myself, this girl doesn't need a cheeseburger. She needs a large, like, chocolate cake. And, I also got a bottle of wine for us. And
yeah,
like, let's be real. If I got that, we would call 911.
I stalked your Insta and I saw that Culver's forgot your milkshake over the weekend. So I went to Culver's and I punched that bitch. And then I got you a milkshake and I brought it to you.
911, what's your emergency? Like, we would,
Well, and that's part of the problem with rom-com is every action that happens in a rom-com to me is a level like 9 emergency. I'm like, don't let that man in your life.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that is the problem. All the red flags that happen in a rom-com, I am like slutty putty for. Okay. I'm like, yes, I love it. I want it. Okay. The newer rom-coms, they don't have enough red flags for me. Okay. These men, I fucking hate them. The older rom-coms, littered red flags. I love them. The newer ones, not enough red flags. But in real life, were that to happen, even an iota of these red flags, I restraining order.
It's escapism, right? It's escapism. And I think that what, I mean, like Courtney said, the older rom-coms had more interesting characters, particularly male characters. And the modern rom-coms are so afraid of the, kind of tiptoeing that line of like misogyny and sexism that they have these guys that are the second coming of Jesus Christ that never say anything ambiguous, they never give you red flags. And honestly, let's be fucking for real. Like, have we been on a date with a guy who had zero green flags? Sorry, have we ever been on
I
a date with
have.
a guy? Have you,
Yeah.
have we ever been on a date with a guy who had zero red flags? No, not a
Oh,
single
yeah.
person.
I just remember because, you know, your entire childhood is basically like what movies your mom let you watch at 10 o'clock at night because you wouldn't go to bed, or the movies that you snuck once you had cable in your own bedroom, or
Mhm.
the family friendly films. And I never saw a lot of Nora Ephron's rom-coms until I was an adult. And when you're an adult millennial and you're looking at other adult millennial women who have grown up with these rom-coms and have a special place in your heart, I am like the Grim Reaper. I'm like, hello, here I am to tell you that Tom Hanks isn't hot enough to rip away my dead mom's bookstore from me and then also get to marry me.
Right.
Catfish me.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we love rom-coms, but there is this complicated relationship with them where you could see how they have infiltrated. They have really been like sleeper cell spies in our
Mhm.
subconscious that have like sold us all of these crazy ideas.
Mhm.
But at the same time, we're kind of like of the mindset of, that TikTok where it's like, don't you hate it when girls? No, I love it when girls. So that's kind of how we feel about rom-coms, where it's like, we don't care if it's dumb. Like, we ride for it because it's for the women, like it's for the girls, you
We
know?
support women's rights and women's wrongs.
100%. And I am, and again, like I rewatched Set It Up with
Oh,
Glenn
Zoe
Powell,
Deutsch.
Zoe Deutsch, Lucy Liu, Tay Diggs on Saturday night because we were so happy
Love
to have
it.
seen Twisters. And, and I was like, this movie is adorable because they're fixing a common problem that the two of them have, thus getting to know one another. Thus, I'm sold on their relationship. The other rom-coms to me, if you don't get me invested in who they are as people, like if Sandra Bullock's entire personality is she's bossy and she's mean and she has to move back to Canada. and
Right.
and Ryan Reynolds is just like the goof she has to marry. I can't invest in that. They're not people to me.
Another one that, like, kind of like the same subject you're talking about, where they're giving as good as they get. So it's like a mutual thing, is 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yes.
Perfection. And
Yeah. And
also, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead with the listing because I was going to say something about
Oh,
what
like
Nat
10
said.
Things I Hate About You. And like also you get Heath Ledger just double cheeked up on a
Ugh.
Tuesday afternoon. Like,
It's a double whammy. Yeah, but like what Nat was saying about like you have to be invested in the characters, that's just storytelling 101. The characters have to want something and they have to want something compelling. Otherwise, you do not care. And it's interesting to me how rom-coms are really not easy to pull off. Like a lot of people just think like, oh yeah, we'll just have two hot people who want to bang each other. We'll throw in some like silly comedy in there, just like a really outrageous plot, and it's fine. You have a rom com. But like, no. And Set It Up is a really great example of a rom com done right. You have two main characters who want something that we can relate to. They want their bosses to lay off of them because they have extremely unreasonable bosses. I mean, and so we're rooting for them. And they have a common interest that they're working towards, and we see them falling for each other.
Yeah, and then also, like, nobody has the upper hand here. And also, the woman is not dependent on the man. And that's what a lot of rom-coms do, is to where they make the whole point of the rom-com is that the female lead will not be satisfied should she not get the dude at the end. That's not the point of like, finding love is not the point of Set It Up. Like, for the male and female lead, that's not the point of it. That was also not the point of 10 Things I Hate About You. That was not the point of The Hating Game. You know, things that was not the point of these movies. And I think that's why they worked so well, is because love was not the point.
Yeah, it was a cherry on top.
Yeah.
I am so glad that you've seen The Hating Game, because I was like, I know a rom-com where the guy is just red flags on red flags.
Yes.
Oh, we've
Yes.
seen The Hating Game.
Yeah, we recapped The Hating Game.
Oh, we've recapped it too as like our holiday movie recap with Julia over at Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous. And she's like, I read the book and this is really cute and this is cute. And I was like, he's the Zodiac killer.
He's a Zodiac killer.
He tracked her outfits and he made little notes in his journal. And then he painted his bedroom the exact shade of green as her eyes.
I know.
Get out.
I know.
She tracked his outfits too. Don't you remember? Sky blue, slate gray.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
They were two creepy people made in,
yeah.
That was romance made in creepy heaven.
Because I remember in the book, she's like, yesterday was sky blue. That means today is slate gray tie.
I do not remember that because I forgive women of anything normally.
Yeah, Lucy Hale could never be creepy. You could never make me hate you.
I mean, she could have literally been like twirling a knife as she like stared at all the pictures of him that she pasted to her bedroom ceiling, and we would have been like, slay the house down, queen.
She's so adorable. She's like 5 foot even. What is she gonna do? Murder us? But still, it's gonna be adorable.
Best friend of the podcast, Annie Sieg, and I love nothing more than a made for Hulu Lucy Hale movie. Yes. And one time I found the epitome of Lucy Hale movie, and it was Blumhouse made a horror movie based on that old show from the 60s, Paradise Island, Love Island. It's called Love Island, the plane, Fantasy Island. I got there. And I was like, of course Lucy Hale is in this movie. So The Hating Game, I was like, he's the Zodiac killer. Mm-hmm. This is a murder mystery. Love Lucy Hale though. And I love when something at the end of it, I go, oh my God, that was a rom-com the entire time. I recently watched Amazon Prime's Space Cadet, which is Armageddon for the girlies. And and at the end, she gets kisses. And I was like, oh my God, was this a rom-com the entire time?
You messaged us about that.
I did.
Like, Courtney, let's look into this one.
It's on my list. I'm going to watch it.
Just because I love to know what people... So my friend and I have recently been fighting about this because she'll watch something like that Zac Efron, Nicole Kidman movie. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she'll text me in the middle of the night and be like, movies are bad now and Hollywood should just quit and we're done. We can't make good movies anymore. This movie was so bad. And I'll be like, that movie was made for Netflix. And she's like, well, it has Nicole Kidman in it. I was like, yeah, everyone needs a paycheck, including Nicole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's...
Go for it.
It's so true. Like, people seem to think that actors are somehow invested in movies being good. Like, bro, it's a paycheck.
Bro.
They have zero control of how the movie turns out.
I've been rewatching.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Also that. Because I set my expectations at Netflix level. And I told her, I was like, it's a Netflix movie. She's like, these are award-winning actors and actresses in this movie. I go, who need a paycheck? And know that people will continue to watch this movie as long as it's on a streaming platform. Mm-hmm. That's why Nicole Kidman opens all of the AMC theater movies with "We come to the theater for magic." Like,
Yeah.
She needed a
icon.
paycheck.
She needed a paycheck. I've been rewatching One Tree Hill, and someone in the very last season, Chris Keller comes back and someone makes fun of him for like writing the toaster strudel jingle. And he's like, that pays my rent. He's
Yeah.
like, it pays my
Yeah.
rent.
He's like, shut your whore mouth.
Shut your whore mouth and don't skip it on YouTube. And so I'm like, no, there's like a tier system that
Yeah.
should be in your head when it comes to movies. If I'm going to the movie to see Anyone But You, I'm like, this has to be Hollywood level. And for the most part, it was beautiful sets in Australia, hot people, based on Shakespeare. Like, that was a Hollywood movie that will eventually end up on Peacock so I can watch it over and over again. But if I'm sitting down to watch a made for streaming movie, I'm like, I love made for streaming movies because it's a hot box of whatever it's going to be. And
Yeah.
you never truly know.
Yeah.
See,
like,
if I would have went to the theater to see Anyone But You, I'd have been mad.
yeah, we kind of have a hot take about Anyone But You. We thought, I mean, I went in because
That
here's
was
the thing.
lazy writing.
Well, because here's the thing too. I think movies are experienced through the lens of the individual, right? So I think Courtney and I were always looking at things through writer's lens. And there's nothing more jarring for a writer when you can see the writers in a movie. And so when you're watching Anyone But You, the average person is probably like, oh, look at this. Like, this banter is so quick. Me and Courtney are seeing a group of white men sitting around a table being like, and then she says this, and then he says this. Like, there was nothing natural about it, you know?
I love to blame an imaginary room of white men for anything I don't like in a show. I'm like, a room full of white men decided that Brooke Davis should be naked in the back of Chad Michael Murray's car.
I mean,
Yeah.
because 99% of the time, that's exactly who did that.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what else? A room full of white men are always like, and you know what would be amazing? We're going to show his ass.
Yeah.
mhm.
The female gaze.
That's how you get the women's juices flowing. You know how women love men's bare asses.
And listen, when I was 21 or however old I was when one of the X-Men that featured Hugh Jackman as Wolverine came out, I believe it was the first one with Sophie Turner in it. And they full on, I went to that movie by myself, I'm pretty sure. And I think it was X-Men Apocalypse. And all of a sudden, Hugh Jackman is out of bed and full ass. And I'm like, I do like me some Hugh Jackman ass. Bravo. Bravo.
He's the exception. When we say not all man ass, we mean not Hugh Jackman ass.
No, that one's always welcome. That was a convention of women who voted to see that on the screen.
We demanded it.
We demanded it.
But yeah, so like a room full of women were like, it's time we see Jackman's ass because you don't get to see it very often.
Right. Yeah. He's very selective.
I'm sure if we just asked him like nicely.
Respectfully.
Ew, I'm having a rough day.
Can we just like
Mr. Jackman?
Mr. Jackman.
I was going to say back to Anyone But You real quick. Do you know why? Okay, so I feel like back to what you were saying too, where you were like, the characters have to want something. I feel like what the characters wanted in Anyone But You was not compelling enough.
No.
Because their whole thing was like, the girl wants her family to lay off of her by pretending to have a boyfriend. And then the guy wanted to make his ex jealous. And they both like kind of accomplished that on day one. And yet they continued this bit that went on to ruin the sister's wedding.
They also weren't that invested in their own plot. I was like, you don't care about these people. Just scream at your parents.
Yeah. Like, why do we care? So
if you're going to cause a scene like this, cause a scene.
Scene.
The only redeeming quality in my eyes to that movie was the Natasha Bedingfield whatever song.
Yes.
Unwritten.
Yes.
Like, that was such a cute bit. I love how that came full circle. That was fun. And I think when you leave audiences on a high note like that, they feel like that was a good movie.
Truly. And even though I am a very creative person who like is always talking about misogyny and whatever, if I'm in the movie theater, it's so easy to sell me on a movie being good. I have my popcorn. I'm in a comfy seat. I'm out. I'm out of my house.
Right.
And Saltburn, so many people have tried to tell me that Saltburn's a bad movie. And I'm like, no, it changed me.
Did you see it in the theater?
I did.
Well,
Oh.
I feel like but to your point, if you're paying money to go see a movie, you already decided you're going to like it. So it is going to be more difficult to not like it. And I do think that plays a big role in like our perception of movies. It's like, what mood are we in when we're going to go watch it? Because we have a lot of mutuals that review movies. And I think a lot of them, they feel obligated to go to the movies to, kind of review the newer movies. And so sometimes I think they go with already the decision that they're not going to like a movie.
Oh, see? And when I saw Fall Guy and I told my mom that it was perfect because Ryan Gosling is perfect, she immediately called me and was like, I just got 22 clickbait articles about how bad Fall Guy is. And I go, because negativity gets you views and people arguing in your comments.
Yeah. Fall Guy was so good.
It was so
It
good.
was so good.
Rose had a hot take. The Inside Out 2 wasn't that great. And people were like, bitch, you know nothing.
Yeah. They were like, so you're saying mental health doesn't matter? And I was like, I guess that's what I'm saying, bitch. Let's fight.
As she's popping her Wellbutrin.
as I am fully medicated, sure. Like, tell the anxious, depressive person that mental health doesn't matter.
And I know I wasn't medicated, but I also don't know what kind of state I was when I watched Inside Out 1. But at the end of it, I had not cried. I cried more during Brother Bear. I was just like, but then the entire time you're watching Brother Bear and Phil Collins is singing, you're like, I really wish this was the Tarzan soundtrack. Sorry, Phil.
Well, my video on Inside Out 2 that I posted on TikTok, I didn't say it was a bad movie. All I said was that it was literally a copy and pasted plot. Like the plot structurally and by story beat was identical to the first movie. And that just disappointed me because I honestly went in expecting to be blown away by a new creative story. And it just wasn't that.
Yeah. I didn't see Inside Out 2. I did ask someone who saw it. I was like, oh, does Riley have a crush on that girl hockey player? Because then maybe I'm in. And the person got on their high horse. And they were like,
no.
Well, maybe that's how you could read it. Maybe she just wanted a friend and wanted to belong. Why does everything have to be about sexuality? And I was like, because I'm struggling with mine. And honestly,
because she's, from what I understood was this is when she's hitting puberty. Yeah. And once kids hit puberty, everything's about sexuality. Everything. Like shit.
And I am in the camp that we have to talk in order for acceptance to actually be acceptance. There has to be gay people in movies for me to talk about. Like we have to talk about the possibility of Riley being queer. That's acceptance.
Well, can we also talk about the confusing period of like being a young girl and being super excited about a female friend and like not knowing if that where that excitement is different from a crush?
Right.
Because I don't know if you guys have had that feeling. Like I remember being in high school and this really pretty popular girl wanted to be my friend. And the rush that I got from that, I was literally like, I had to powwow with myself. Like, hold on, girl. Like, where are we on the spectrum here sexually?
Yeah. You had to pinpoint the butterflies.
Yeah. Because I was just so excited.
I truly believe that that's how I became aware of me not falling 100% super straight on the spectrum of it all, because I was like, I truly only ever really, truly invest my whole mind and heart and soul of it all into relationships with women. And I truly only enjoy relationships with women. I've just never crossed that into what if we kiss?
Right.
And so if you had more rom-coms where some schmo is trying to bring your girl coffee, but then she's instead thinking about all of the times that she wanted to hold her best girlfriend's hand and be comforted and have like a girl crush on that. To me, that's the most reasonable, realistic, relatable movie of all, because again, how do we read it? so often we are more excited about our friendships and relationships when we're growing up.
I think my first real struggle with like, wait a minute, these are weird butterflies was that's not Brendan Fraser. That's Rachel Weisz giving me those butterflies was in The Mummy.
Yeah.
And then I saw a Shakira music video and I was like, wait a minute. But honestly, I think we can all forgive the Shakira music video because I think she does that to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, again, and I will die on this hill, like, in order for, like, it to be truly acceptable for, like, queer focused storylines to be a thing, it also has to be acceptable for queer storylines to be the B plot or the background plot or just existing within your movie.
That is, I was having like story ideas as you were saying that, because imagine what a refreshing story it would be to start off a rom-com with the very typical setup of like a girl wanting to get her crush's attention and then having like her best friend helping her. But then in the end, she's like falling for, like the best friend falls for her. And then the girl realizes like, I actually, all these feelings that I want to have for this boy, I actually have them for my best friend.
Yeah.
And then they scissor at the end.
And then they scissor. It's all I wanted out of this season of Love Island with Rob and Aaron. I was like, just kiss already. You only care about one another.
That's all over my feed,
Yeah.
Love Island, but I have not watched. I watched the first season of Love Island, the
I don't
UK
really
version.
watch reality TV.
That's fine. We can move on. I'm trying very hard to not bring up Twilight because I know that your feed has been Twilight.
Oh, we'll talk forever.
It'll derail the whole thing. But I think also in The Mummy is another example of, wait, was this a rom-com the entire time? Because they have a common goal. And then at the end, there are kisses. And I was like, I'm invested in them.
But they were married at the beginning.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
The Mummy.
Yeah. I don't remember that. I have a really bad memory, though.
Well, yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were married.
I thought they were strangers. I didn't think they
I
knew
thought
each
that
other.
Right, because he was like in a jail cell and he like kissed her. And then we were like, ooh, sexy, but also he didn't ask.
Like, I felt like Hollywood algorithm in the early 2000s, they just knew us better. They had their finger on the pulse so much better than they do now, because man, was I obsessed with like ancient Egypt.
Yes.
And most young girls were.
Yes.
Okay, no, they weren't married. They got married eventually for the second one. Never mind. I got confused. But no, yeah, it was a rom-com like the whole time. But like it's like an adventure. It's not a rom-com. It was like an adventure romance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is what I was reading. I wasn't reading like The Boy Next Door. No, you're fine. I was like reading like the Sahara Desert Race 2000 like sexy novel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It does hit so much harder when you're not expecting it.
I do think that current rom-coms are gotching me with this, and they're making their male leads have emotions. And I'm like, when? How? When did this happen? Like in The Fall Guy, when Ryan Gosling is singing his heart out to my therapy song, All Too Well. And I'm like,
my God, that was so... Courtney, you've got to watch Fall Guy.
You've got to watch Fall Guy.
Good.
I think, is society trying to gaslight us that men have feelings?
Yes.
Like, is Hollywood trying to gaslight us, being like, men have feelings too?
Yeah.
And I'm like, when are they going to realize that?
No, and I feel that because I leave the movie theater and I'm like, hold on, Ryan Gosling. You
almost got me.
You almost got me. But then I'm at Twisters and my sister and my friends are like, what was your favorite Glenn Powell moment? And I was like, that he was actually really scared during the tornado and he almost cried.
Oh my gosh. Spoiler alert. That would get me. That would get me.
Because in the original Twisters, Bill Paxton, may he rest in peace, he wasn't scared of the tornado. Him and Helen Hunt were like adrenaline junkies, just being like, let's get her. And this Twisters is a fantastic movie. It has so much emotional intelligence and like action packed and like all of it, and Glenn Powell in a cowboy hat. And
You're
and
confused, Nat. You're confused.
I'm confused. And I truly think that I'm like, oh my God, you guys are trying to open the door for men to have feelings, to gaslight me. Because one of my favorite lines to tell my friends when they're like, I can't believe a man did this to me, I'm like, men have to have feelings in order to have feelings for you.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is something healing about when men are portrayed in a vulnerable way in Hollywood, because obviously that wasn't our experience growing up. That's not how men were portrayed, and therefore that's not how men behaved, because Hollywood has such a correlation with like the culture and how men think that they have to move, through the world, like boys don't cry and
Mm-hmm.
men are supposed to be like tough and flip tables over, but those aren't emotions. Anger is not an emotion.
We always say that men have successfully gaslit the rest of society into thinking that they're not emotional when they're throwing their little hissy fits and yelling and screaming, because anger is not an emotion. But yeah, it is. It is. It's like one of the primary
I know.
emotions.
Like it's such a basic, unintelligent emotion that toddlers who have zero understanding of emotions or anything around them, that's like their primary emotion, because that's how basic anger is. And it's kind of sad when you think about the fact that that is the primary emotion that men can view can process the world through, because they haven't been socialized to be emotionally intelligent historically.
Well, and the way that they've diluted anger for the rest of us to where it's toddler rage for the majority of it and punching my wall. And then Taylor Swift releases the Tortured Poets Department, one of the angriest albums I've ever listened to. And people are like, there she is whining about her boyfriends again. I go, no, she's pissed. She's pissed that this keeps happening to her. She's pissed that in order to decenter men, she has to center them first in order to get out of it. And you're right. It's such a basic, like violent anger or like eruptive anger or that just base inside out feeling of anger is so impulsive and quick and without thought. But then when there's like deep seated rage or hatred or done, like I'm just done with this, that's usually saved for women. And then we're told that we can't drive cars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like we get a little bit like snippy during a conversation and you're like, you need to calm down.
Oh my God.
And it's like, bro, you just finished plastering a hole you put in the wall because you lost a video game. Several fucking seats, my dude.
Think of all the ways that they try to gaslight us into believing that our anger isn't actually anger. It's being a nag. It's complaining. It's being ungrateful. It's all of that. And instead it's like, no, I'm just pissed.
It's our
pissed
periods.
at you. It's our period.
Well, because it's anger with context, right? Like when you are complaining, you're putting context to your anger instead of just lashing out, which is something that's just dismissed as like a female experience of like, what? You're not just punching a hole in the wall or screaming. You're actually like stating bullet points.
You're
That's
actually doing
ridiculous.
therapy with yourself.
That's literally hysterical. Like you're being hysterical right now with your
Well,
bullet
see,
points.
I feel like male anger is always justified, even if they have context, because they feel entitled.
Yeah.
Like male anger, they can be mad where they're like screaming. Let's say it was because they got a flat tire and they were mad. That's understandable. I would be upset if I got a flat tire too. That's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry that you got a flat tire, but to be screaming and yelling about it and then to come home because you had a bad day and slam a door because you got a flat tire, like that is an overreaction. Like that is being emotional. Could you imagine if I broke a heel while I was out? Let's say I broke a heel of my favorite pair of shoes while I was out. And then I came home from work and I started screaming and I slammed a door. Could you imagine how that would be interpreted? It would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's just a heel. It's a material item. Just fix it.
you would need Ryan Reynolds to swoop into your home and or office or both and then coax you back into your more gentle nature. So then that begs to question, are rom-coms written for women, or are they written for the ideas that men have about women and what women want?
There are some. There are some that are definitely written by men for women of like this is what women want. But I think we can all agree that there are rom-coms that really get it right. And I think those are the ones that really understand how to convey romance in a story that's interesting and compelling because like rom-coms are hard to pull off. This is what like I think gets lost in the conversation. Rom-coms have to have a compelling story and then they have to have characters with believable chemistry. And then the story arc has to tie these things together while at the same time serving comedy. Like, just pick one of these things and it's hard to pull off. Like, pick
Yeah.
a romance is hard to pull off. Pick comedy. Comedy is hard to pull off. And you're having these three really difficult, like, pillars of a story, and you have to pull them all off simultaneously. It's hard. And, like, very rarely do rom coms get them right.
Yeah.
I think that when you're focusing too much on one audience, you lose touch with the other audiences. So I think that a lot of times rom-coms are written by men for what they think women want to see. And like, I think Anyone But You was written by men, and they're like, of course, women want to see Glenn Powell and men want to see Sydney Sweeney. I think Anyone But You was written with the context of we have hot actors.
Mm-hmm.
So we can get away with a loose storyline.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't want to see Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell? So they hoped that the weaker storyline would not be noticed because they had stronger actors. And I'm sure a lot of people didn't notice it because Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney are very attractive.
It was, I mean, obviously they were straight eye candy. And the thing is that it was also funny. Like it was funny, you know? And so I think those things being considered, it was on surface level enjoyable. I just like, I wanted more, dude. I wanted these characters like they had, when you really think about that movie objectively, you're just like, what do these people want?
Yeah.
Like, what did these characters want and why was I supposed to care?
Well, and I said this while we were walking out because I'm a Sydney Sweeten fan and that wasn't her strongest. And my sister said, well, how did you feel about Sid in this one? I go, well, I'm mad at her because she made me feel bad for Glenn Powell because Glenn Powell is still in his puppy dog actor stage where he's going to give it his all and he's going to give it to you, give. And Sydney is in her Rihanna at the Super Bowl not giving era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it clashed too much. I was like, how was he supposed to act against that?
He clocked in. Glenn Powell clocked in. And everything I've seen him in, he goes full out.
He does.
Well, then you have like Set It Up. Like Set It Up was funny. I had a compelling storyline. The relationship between the main characters had amazing chemistry. It was natural. It felt really organic. And I feel like that one, all three pillars were definitely clicking. They all felt equal. And I feel like that one did it right. Like that one was appealing to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that one, whether it was written by a man or a woman, that one would appeal more strongly to women.
Yeah. A rom-com that I was recently reminded of that I really enjoyed, but probably would have never put it in the rom-com category was Palm Springs with Andy Samberg and the woman who plays the mom on How I Met Your Mother.
Oh my God.
She's a better actress than that. I should know her name because I love everything that she's done after How I Met Your Mother, but I don't know her name. And the premise of that movie is Andy Samberg somehow falls into a time loop. And so they're at a wedding and he's in a continuous time loop. So he's reliving this wedding over and over again. And then this woman, through hijinks, also falls into the time loop. And because they're stuck in this time loop and he's showing her, yeah, we're stuck. There's no explanation for this. I actually haven't even looked for an explanation or way to get out. He's showing her how fun it could be being in this time loop because it's escapism at its finest. And she's also working on trying to convince him that they maybe should be working on getting out of this time loop. But they eventually just start liking each other. And I'm like, I'm sold on them. They should be together for the rest of their lives.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cute.
that is cute. Just today, we did It Could Happen to You,
Mm,
the 1994 movie with Nicolas Cage.
yeah.
And we, at least me, I sort of determined that they're all trash.
Yeah. 100%. No, I think we literally said, do you hear that? It's the dump truck backing up. Beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep, to collect all of them.
All adulterers.
Well, because
Yeah.
we were talking about how in the 90s and early 2000s, rom-coms had they really knew how to weave misogyny into the female characters, because it seemed like the male characters would have a significant other who was not the female lead, but then the audience was to completely not care about this woman because she was vain. It's usually that she was vain. She cared a lot about her appearance, or she cared a lot about money, and therefore that made her unworthy of love. And it also made it okay to cheat on her.
On Sleepless in Seattle, right before Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks get together, he's dating a woman and her laugh sucks. And I was like, oh my God, do you remember when they used to convince us that if a woman laughed, it was a personality flaw?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're trying to do a Kamala Harris right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Janice off of Friends. And like literally, like you saw everyone make eye contact around the table after this woman had a really loud laugh. And it happens in one of my favorite rom-coms, Return to Me Too, where David Duchovny's on this blind date and this woman is laughing obnoxiously. And I was like, aha, a personality flaw. The woman be laughing. And in another, I think it's You've Got Mail. In You've Got Mail, they're trying to make me be against Greg Kinnear and Parker Posey. And I made Julia pause the movie. I was like, pause it. I was like, so you tell me at the end of this movie, I'm supposed to be okay that Greg Kinnear and Parker Posey got dumped for no fault of their own?
Yeah.
I love Parker Posey. And she's like, well, in the name of true love. And I was like, he just stole her dead mom's store. No.
Yeah. Like what? Ugh.
Jail.
And
Yeah.
And it's so funny because a lot of those younger rom-coms had better storylines, but also did so much worse to women because they're like, you're all flawed. So as soon as a man smiles at you, love him. The end.
100%.
Like your entire existence revolves around finding a man to love you.
And there was also like a tiered system with women where it was like, the women that are important are you and your best friend. And then the rest of them are whores and you can steal their men because no one cares about them. And it was just like, okay, I guess like 8-year-old us, right? Watching this, like, okay.
Yeah, because I also think about my favorite rom-coms growing up were Return to Me because it had gorillas. And I got to watch it be filmed at the Brookfield Zoo. And I'm in love with David Duchovny and Minnie Driver. They are the poles of my sexuality. I also loved Must Love Dogs. That's a cute one.
Yeah.
I do love John Cusack.
I love John Cusack, which probably is a flaw at some point because I think he's mean.
Probably. You know what? Not in the movies, he's not.
Not in the movies, though, but I think he's mean. And Fools Rush In with Matthew Perry, who I've never enjoyed in anything else after Fools Rush In, and Penelope Cruz.
Wasn't Matthew McConaughey in that one?
No,
Okay,
that's
never mind.
Fool's Gold with him and Kate Hudson.
Right,
And
right.
It might not be Penelope Cruz. It might be Selma Hayek.
I think it's Selma Hayek.
It's Selma Hayek, yeah. I have the wrong lady dancing in my head.
So my favorites growing up were While You Were Sleeping.
I love that one too.
Sweet Home Alabama. And trying to think. I know While You Were Sleeping in Sweet Home Alabama, and I think those are really the only two that like I kept going back to.
Mm-hmm.
That I watched like repeatedly. And then Practical Magic, but that's not really a rom-com.
It kind of is, though.
It kind of
is.
is.
But again, it's one of those rom-coms where because he's almost like obsolete to the story, I'm like, I just get to revel in Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman and Stockard Channing. And that's what I want.
Okay, maybe this is a hot take, but I almost wish we could just unravel the whole genre of rom-com and just focus on making good movies that have a romantic subplot.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just do that because I feel like trying to squeeze things into the category of a rom-com, again, you're just like in a corner where it's like, it has to be funny and it has to be hot but like also story, it's too much.
It is too much. It's a lot for one screenwriter or a room full of white men to tackle.
Imagine if they had tried to make Practical Magic a rom-com. They would have destroyed the movie.
Yes. And because I read all of Alice Hoffman's books, all of Alice Hoffman's books about witches have a romantic subplot that doesn't take spotlight from the actual woman's story. It's like, I think it's why I'll watch Legally Blonde every time it's on TV. Because at the end, Elle Woods gets to make fools of all of them.
Slay.
Was that considered a rom-com?
I think so because it hinges on her breakup. And then she gets Luke Wilson in the end.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think just kind of unraveling that, that little box of like, it has to be, slapstick comedy the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then also there's a very new and traditional rom-com that I really enjoyed, and it was J-Lo's Marry Me. I loved the soundtrack. I love, against my own better judgment, I love Owen Wilson. And I love this whole idea of she was in a panic bind. She saw his little poster and she said, I will marry you. And then because of her celebrity, and it's like J-Lo's take on Notting Hill, but because of her like notoriety, they have to keep up that act because it's like getting her TikTok views or something.
I haven't seen that one, but I do remember.
I haven't seen it either.
I think it's on Peacock. I loved it. I went to the movie to see that because I do love a J-Lo rom-com. Like that's something toxic about me.
Well, I mean, objectively, like the J-Lo rom-coms hit.
Yeah.
Like she is, despite whatever she may be in real life, on screen, she is so charming.
I know. And my best friend's favorite rom-coms all revolve around Julia Roberts. And I'm like, yeah, those were good rom-coms to be watching.
I honestly, I hated Pretty Woman.
Well, yeah. I loved it. But so when I was a kid and I realized that I was like chubby and not anything that anyone in Hollywood or a man would ever want, I then became obsessed with stories revolving around sex workers, like women who were using their like sex appeal to get their way. So I loved Pretty Woman. I loved every made for Lifetime movie where you woke up and you were accidentally a sex worker. I loved that.
Okay.
Coyote Ugly.
I do love Coyote Ugly.
I love Coyote Ugly. Burlesque. Anything that was like sex work adjacent, I was like, this is for me. It's for me. It'll teach me how to take a hold of my sexuality. And I didn't. It didn't teach me anything. But I loved them.
So I saw Cruel Intentions for the first time earlier this year.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that I saw it for the first time earlier this year because I feel like if, 13-year-old me were to have seen it when I was 13, my life would have taken a different trajectory because I would have made it my whole fucking personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have been Sarah Michelle Gellar from Cruel Intentions.
Yeah.
Like it would have been my whole fucking personality. So I'm really grateful that that's just something that escaped my grasp for so long. I'm really glad that I didn't see Gossip Girl like when I was a teenager. I saw it like just a couple years ago. Because I would have been like, I am Serena van der Woodsen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read the Gossip Girl and the A-list books.
Mm.
So I've read them before it was a show. But I also like, because I've admitted this on the podcast before, like I was an imaginary mean girl where I really thought that I could like pull off hot girl, popular girl antics, even though I was not hot girl, popular girl. I was like, but I'd be mean just like them.
Mm-hmm.
and and I think it's because of like Cruel Intentions, Gossip Girl, all of these things where you're like, Regina George gets on top. That's me, baby. And the Bachelor franchise.
Yeah. It's so true. Hollywood really did make mean sexy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It still kind of is. They still do. They still push that narrative of like mean and cruel is sexy.
Yes. And they try to teach you that a man loves nothing more than when a woman's mean to him.
Yeah. I mean,
He
that's
kind of
not,
does, though.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he's
not
kind of
true.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
No,
very true.
I was probably one of like the sweetest people ever until I was like 25. Like literally, I was like a doormat, and I didn't hit my mean girl era until I was like 25. And then I was just like, Reputation came out, and yeah, it was like it was a whole thing.
cultural reset.
Yeah.
Can we talk about though, like, how are you in your 30s, Nat?
I am 35.
Okay, we're all in our 30s, a different what is it called? Spectrums of 30 here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
on the lower, I mean, sorry, the higher end. I'm pushing 40. But there is something to be said about empowerment that just kind of like awakens in women in your 30s. And I think about it all the time because the amount of catcalling and harassment that I faced as a literal child walking to school. And now, as a grown woman, men are scared to make eye contact with me. And I'm like, I know I'm still hot. All right. So you're just not looking at me because you know that I'm not a little girl that you can talk at anymore.
They know that there's a taser in your purse.
I do remember the first time that I started to become aware that like men were scared, like almost to, oh my gosh, it happened when we took my nephew for his first baby haircut. And you know, my nephew's friendly, so he waved at some guy who was also walking with some child to a motorcycle or whatever. And I didn't hear this man say hello or wave back to my nephew or whatever, but all of a sudden he's over explaining to me why that happened. He's like, that kid said hi, so I said hi back. And I was like, I wish men would understand that that makes me more nervous. Like, I could have ignored you just waving and saying hi. But the fact that you have to explain to me, like, I'm a normal guy, it was happening because I'm normal. That's what makes me know you're dangerous.
Oh my gosh. I love that though.
Yeah.
When it was a couple months ago, I was walking out of Kroger, and like this guy had been following me for like a minute, and his car just happened to be next to my car. And he had said, like, I'm not following you. I'm just going to my car. And he's like, you know, he's like, you know, I don't want you to think I'm following you. You know, I'm not. And I said, I'm not worried. And like, and it was because I did just assume that he was just going to his car, but also like, I could have taken him.
Yes.
And we both knew that.
I do love kind of how women start demanding more respect from men as they get older, as we like, and that's why I tell Courtney, because I'm like, I love getting older. I love getting older because the older you get, the further away you get from the constraints that are put on women of like how you're supposed to look, because you start to realize like, okay, I passed that prime age, right? When you're in your 20s and you're at your peak hotness, and like, I'm not held to those standards anymore. So now I'm free to create my own. But then also men being intimidated by women as we get older is just such a power move to me. Like I grew up with no male influences in my life and just being terrified of male attention, which was like every day it was like psychological warfare just walking to school because these guys would literally slow down in their car to talk to me. And I'm like peeing my pants scared. And now I am walking around like daring someone, like daring a man to try to talk to me.
I would love.
However, that badassery unfortunately melts very quickly with one category of men. And I hate myself for this. And it's old men. Like old men really bring me back. They immediately make me feel like I'm 5 years old and I don't know how to stand up to myself anymore.
Oh, see, for me, it's the opposite. I get like gooey molasses on the inside because I didn't have grandpas growing up. So I'm always trying to find a grandpa. I'm
Oh,
like,
gosh.
Grandpa? I'm like, I just want to play like dominoes with you and talk about the war.
They make me uncomfortable. There's this old guy at my grocery store. Every time he sees me, he starts flirting with me. And I can't take it in stride because I'm like brought back to that time where I felt like really helpless. Because now I'm like, it's not even, like you're an old man. So like if I tell you off, I just look like a bitch. So I'm kind of put in like this, like the power imbalance doesn't feel right.
Well, and power imbalance is a huge part of it, where it's like, number one, you have an age difference. We were still one of the generations that was taught to respect old people, despite who they are.
Despite how awful old people are.
I was taught to respect old people, but now that my dad is dead, I feel like I don't have to do that.
I've evolved out of that.
I let that go with my dad. He took that lesson with him.
That idea has been cremated.
With my dad's ashes. It's now on a shelf in my living room.
I released it in my releasing ceremony. But no, like when it comes to, I love like an old man movie character. I'm like, look at that old man. Look at him. So cute. I also love that we are in an age of rom-coms where older women, because Julia Roberts and J-Lo and all of them still look real snatched. They do. They still get to be in movies. They get to be women in their 50s, like finding love for the first time or second time or third time.
I love that. And I think that's coming from the idea of like women being like, hey, I get to still be sexy if I want to, right? Like if I want to be sexy in my 50s, I can. If I want to wear skin tight leather in my 50s, I'm going to. And who's going to tell me I can't?
There is a new rom-com. I think it's on Hulu. And it's about like an older woman. I want to say she's in like her like 50s, 60s. And she actually hires a man in his like 20s who's like
this. It's his name is Leo Grande.
Yeah.
And it's like, thank you, Leo Grande or something. And it's Emma Thompson. So it might be she's in her upper 60s.
Yeah, so she's in her like upper 60s. She hires him and he's like a gigolo.
Mm-hmm.
She hires him and she just wants to get just like railed.
Which is all
and
I
I'm
want
like, good for
Emma
you, Nana.
Thompson.
Wait a minute. What's the name of this movie? I gotta check it out.
It's like, here's to you, Leo Grande, or thank you, Leo Grande, or something.
Good luck to you, Leo Grande.
Good luck to you, Leo Grande.
The other thing, as you get older too, is you start to realize how there's like this, I don't know, there's this insecurity that comes with youth and that comes with even like attractiveness, where you like now, in my late 30s, I will look at women, young women in their 20s that are just like drop dead gorgeous. And I could see the insecurity oozing out of their pores.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's just like, holy shit, I am more confident. Like 3 times your size than like you are.
Well, and I think that was my biggest red flag for the idea of you is that here's Anne Hathaway and she's trying so hard to be like superior and confident, but it's still reading as insecure because of how young and hot he is. And I'm like, you are fucking Anne Hathaway. You own a goddamn art gallery. You're living the dream. Your refrigerator is broken. Your boyfriend is rich. He should have bought you one.
Yes.
That's such a good point.
And she should have immediately screamed that to him. She should have been like, you're rich. Buy me a refrigerator.
Well, and especially like when they're out there at the pool and she ends up putting on her like denim muumuu.
Yeah.
Bitch, you're Anne fucking Hathaway. Go out there naked and show those little 20 bitch twinks what the fuck is up. Okay.
Also, I'll show up to fucking Meijer in shorts where they clearly don't fit anymore, or they're short, or they're too big, or they're whatever. Maybe my bra is on, who's to say, and whatever, and still have like the most main character energy of my life, because I'm like, I'm 35 and I don't care about the male gaze anymore.
100%.
And that's all I wanted from Anne Hathaway. I was like, you are the main character of this you're the main character of my fucking life, Anne Hathaway. And like,
What a powerful moment it could have been, because you're so right. Like, I mean, and also it's not like she's not conventionally attractive in every way. I would understand, like, honestly, that moment would have hit, the whole moment of Anne Hathaway being insecure about going out in a bikini in front of other girls. It would have hit if she had been, maybe a little overweight. It would have been like, okay, well, she feels like she's going to be compared to these girls. Objectively, her body is identical to those young women's bodies. Like, give me
yes.
a break.
She's what, like a size fucking 2? A 0?
Yeah.
Like what? I want you. Is there an ounce of fat on you? There's not.
Yeah.
And like,
Okay, I saw you sitting down.
Yeah. She was
All right.
sitting and no fat detected.
no fat
like-
detected.
I am 10 pounds heavier right now than I was in my 20s. But I just got back from a cruise wearing cutoff shorts and a crop top. And I never would have done that in my 20s.
Yeah.
And post boob job, I don't wear a bra anymore.
Hey,
So,
because you earned it.
yeah, I didn't pay $8,000 to still wear a bra.
No.
All right.
For the record, she got her boobs made smaller.
I did.
Which I think
was
is hilarious.
a G, and now I'm like a C or a D.
Hell,
Well, 'cause-
yes.
When you say boob job, I think people probably assume you got boobs put in. You got boobs taken out. Like, that's an atrocity.
Honestly, now I don't feel self-conscious of people looking at them, even dudes. I'm just like, take a good look. They're
Yeah.
new.
No,
They're
they're
new.
fabulous.
Like, and girls in bars, I let them touch them.
Yes, as you should. That's your right. But you know what, Anne Hathaway? Those girls wouldn't have been able to be mean to you and tell you that shitty story if you had shown up topless to that pool because you were in Europe, and then like dry humped your young boyfriend just to prove a point.
Yeah.
What
You
a
should have walked
power
out
move.
there topless in a thong and straddled him.
And straddled him.
Well, then also, it's like, use your age and your experience to shame the fuck out of these young women, because it's like, you know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? These bitches are playing checkers.
Yes.
Play chess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, they're in the sandbox. Bitch, you should be at the gun store. Like, have you seen that Caleb Heron video?
Yes.
Oh, God, I love it. It lives rent free in my mind.
Like, literally, I was like, that's what Anne should have done. Showed up topless. I mean, like, look at these titties. Then dried hump her boyfriend and then jumped into the pool. Like, literally shoved his face away from her to be like, I'm done now. And then jumped in the pool.
Literally,
done
she
now.
should have sprawled out on that thing and just been like, pleasure me in front of them.
In front of
now,
them.
And
while
you know
she
what?
ate grapes.
Like, honestly, and I think about this all the time, because, okay, like, there's always something on TikTok with a Gen Zer kind of making fun of a millennial or a Gen Xer for being older. And it drives me fucking wild, because I'm like, motherfuckers, that is how time works. Like, do you
Time's
not
coming
understand?
for you.
It is coming for you too. And the thing is that looking conventionally hot in your 30s and 40s is so much fucking harder than looking hot in your 20s. Like, you don't get an award for being hot in your 20s. It's not hard to do, babes. It's not hard to do. You've got youth on your side. You've got metabolism on your side.
And we have dye red number 9 on our side and all of the preservatives they put in Lunchables.
That's
out
why
here.
millennials look so much younger, is all the Lunchable preservatives have
Yes.
just kept our skin.
All
We're
the
out
gushers.
here. We're out here like trying to sprint away from diabetes, like at full, full speed. Like,
We
give me a
are.
break. Do you know how much work it takes to look like half decent in your
Yes.
30s?
And, yeah.
Well, it kills me because I see some of these Gen Zers get on the internet and they're like, how old do I look? And with my full chest, I'm like 35. And they're like, I'm 22. And I'm like, what, bitch?
Look, I'm like 47. I'm like, I don't
Listen,
actually
I'm not
know.
about to get on the internet and be like, how old do I look? Don't
No.
fucking answer that question.
We're
Don't
all
answer that, because if you
delusional.
say anything older than what I am,
yeah.
I will die on the inside. All right. I will die on the inside.
We should probably, because we are running over an hour, move into our closing ceremony. Don't worry, you're always invited back. So when you're on to All the Men I've Tolerated Before, we end with a lesson and a manifestation. So what would you like the audience to take away from looking deeply into the rom-coms that we're watching?
I think rom-coms are just escapism for the most part. So I don't think we should be watching them with the intent to absorb any messaging or to see them as some sort of like handbook for how to get a man, anything like that, because it's not real.
No.
I don't think that anybody should feel ashamed to watch rom-coms because like I think that a lot of times people feel like shame to like admit what they like. Or, you know, they'll be like, oh, like I don't like rom-coms. And it's like, you know what? It's okay to like your trash. Yeah. All right. That's perfectly fine. Like your trash. Because art is subjective. And if you like your rom-com trash, like your rom-com trash. I like my rom-com trash. So it's okay to like what you like, even if the masses hate it.
Yeah. Also, I think not only is media literacy in our culture on an all-time low, but I also think that we've forgotten what the movies are for, and that is entertainment and escapism. So if you want to take that movie at face fucking value and then walk out of the Cinemark, never think about that movie again, that is your right. When so many people were like, don't worry, darling, had plot holes, I was like, it was perfect. It talked about incels. I loved it. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a great thriller. It had plot holes. And you know what I always tell people? I go, well, think about whose point of view the movie is actually from. We were following Florence Pugh. She didn't have all the information, and therefore we didn't either.
Right.
I fixed it.
You're
welcome. But yeah, just take it as face value. Just like, what if, God forbid, we enjoyed something?
Yeah. And I'll add to that perfection is boring.
Oh, yeah.
If you were to write a script where people behave the way they should behave according to societal standards, we would fall asleep halfway through act one. It would be so boring. Messy is interesting. Cringe is interesting. So like, and again, at the end of the day, it's entertainment. Like I get there are movies that have hard hitting topics and that make you, you know, kind of like unpack things and make you think. But ultimately, it's all just fucking decoration for the inside of your brain. And you get to choose when you want to think hard and when you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could just stop shitting all over everybody.
We could.
Like that's.
What if we did?
Like shit metaphors.
What if?
what if, God forbid, we just had fun? And I like argue about that with people who hate Taylor Swift all the time. I'm like, what if I could just listen to Blank Space and it have nothing to do with you?
Right.
Well, you know what? People who shit on Taylor Swift can just go back to listening to their piece of shit divorced dad rock and leave us alone.
Right.
I did get yelled at this weekend because I said I went and saw Stevie Nicks in Kentucky because she wasn't touring with some dad rock guy, and I could see her for cheaper, and she would be headlining, so I would get more Stevie. And my friend went, "Don't you mean Billy Joel?" And the way that like someone turned on me because I was like, I didn't want to see Billy Joel, and I never did.
Yeah,
and you're like, yeah, that's what I said.
That's why I said I didn't want to see him. I only wanted to twirl with Stevie Nicks and be at my utmost power. Speaking of our utmost power, what would you like to manifest for the collective energy when it comes to rom-coms?
Do you want to go first, Cord?
All right. Kevin doesn't forgive me. I'd like to manifest more red flags.
I love that,
bring them back. Okay. You know what? This is escapism.
Yeah.
This isn't real life. If I wanted to watch real life relationships, I'd go upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay. I would go through my kids' phones.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I bring back the red flags. Okay. I would like a little bit more toxic masculinity, but also I would like a little bit more like kick-ass feminism. You know, I want more 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
I love that. That is so true. I'm with you. Like messiness, number one, is fun to witness. That's why reality TV is so fun. But then also, we can't erase red flags and misogyny and all these things from media and pretend it doesn't exist because then we're not training the young people to look out for it. So it's like, one, it's fun to watch. You know, it's fun to watch these like misogynistic leads get put in their place because, you know, I mean, misogyny lives in some level inside all of us, right? So I think it's interesting to see. So it's like, don't try to erase it and pretend that these characters are perfect and never had a misogynistic thought in their life because the younger generation needs to see it being played out so that they can learn from it.
And I want to manifest that and Rose, you said this earlier. My favorite type of romantic movie is a movie where I wasn't actually supposed to be paying attention to the romance at all. So, The Mummy. I guess Fall Guy was a romantic comedy, and you were supposed to care that Ryan Gosling really missed Emily Blunt. Twisters. Let's not forget that in the 90s, Bill Paxton was a heartthrob. Okay? Tom Hanks was a heartthrob. I love normal guys in movies, normal, attainable guys. And for Brendan Fraser. And for whatever reason, Glenn Powell, as hot as he is, I'm like, he'd take me to Chili's. I know it.
He just makes you uncomfortable. You know what it is about like extremely AI generated, like Glenn Powell to me looks like what would come out of an AI printer if you were to type in like attractive white male. You know, it would be like, and Glenn Powell would pop out.
I finally put my finger on it. Glenn Powell looks like if you were to merge Matthew McConaughey and Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. And therefore he's perfect.
But the thing too is like when you are that perfect looking, you don't need much else going for you.
Well, but he also seems to be genuinely kind.
And funny. It's not fair, Glenn, for you to be good looking and funny.
And he has a dog named Brisket.
Wait, maybe he was ugly when he was younger.
Glenn, right in.
I mean, listen,
fingers crossed.
Please send in childhood pictures of how ugly you were. You had to be an ugly kid because listen, no one grows up with a sense of humor and like charisma if they weren't like, you know, like an ugly kid.
Yeah. So number one, I really want to manifest that this sequel to Practical Magic doesn't piss me off.
What? Wait, it's coming?
It's coming. Mm-hmm. They've announced it.
Okay.
So I would like for them to not piss me off.
I just want to add on to that if you do fuck it up, I will burn something down. It's a surprise on what, but
probably a studio.
Oh man.
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise. Because it took me a really long time to nail down what was my favorite movie. And then we were doing Practical Magic for Still Comfy, our live movie reviews. And I went, it's Practical Magic and it's always been Practical Magic. Aww. Like it's such a good movie. And the fact that they're going to try to reboot it, I'm like, I'm mad. I'm sad. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm definitely not happy. Like, please don't fuck all over my movie. But I want more rom-coms where I can invest into your relationship. Like, I didn't care that Matthew McConaughey's only flaw and failure to launch was he liked living with his mom and dad. There was nothing going on in that movie. So bring me back more movies where, like, I'm invested in the problem that you're solving, in the shared past that you had. Hot take, I thought that Ticket to Paradise was a wonderful movie. I was like, this is great. It's a great movie. And yeah, I just want more rom-coms where I'm like, you put your whole, when I walked out of Fall Guy, I was like, they put their whole ass in that movie.
Yeah.
They put their entire ass into that movie. I will watch
it.
Oh, Courtney, you're going to love it. It really hit. I was really surprised that it didn't do that well, but I think it's because the whole idea of a stuntman is very like male gaze oriented of like, look at this tough guy doing tough things like a man. But then the movie is like, look at me, I'm doing this for a girl. Yeah. So like it didn't translate.
And I do want more rom-coms where it's the men who are touchy-feely Meanwhile, I have a job. Like, I don't know, like I'm distracted from you.
Yeah, right. It does, yeah. It's a refreshing take.
Yeah.
It's a refreshing take.
That's how my husband is when I'm working. He's like, "Do you want coffee?" He's like coming in here, hugging and kissing me, and I'm like, "I'm fucking busy."
I have things. I have a whole life outside of you. But thank you so much for being here. Again, come back anytime.
Thanks for having us.
I love speaking to you. I love our TikTok friendship. Please make sure to let the listeners know where they can find you.
Yeah, we are on TikTok at fictionfixationpodcast.com. We also post clips on YouTube, just basically like YouTube, Instagram too, Fiction Fixation Podcast. So yeah, we're very active on TikTok. So come follow us there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And everyone, you know where to find us. We're Men I've Tolerated Before. No, we're not. We're Men I've Tolerated Pod on Instagram. It's because I was a dum-dum and I made our Instagram handle and our Gmail different.
Oh.
Thinking, surely I will keep those two separate in my head. Men I've Tolerated Pod on Instagram, Natalie K124 on Instagram if you just want pictures of me. Natalie K124 on TikTok. Make sure to follow the YouTube channel. Make sure to check us out on Patreon where there's a bunch of free stuff. But if you pay for stuff, there's Tolerator check-ins. There's Misogyny Meltdown comedy. There's just a whole new world over on Patreon. And remember, tolerators, you don't have to smile through anything you've tolerated. That's not my line. You don't have to smile through anything you're tolerating. It's been a while since I've recorded, especially walking into a movie thinking that you're really just going to be taken in by laughs and like gush and cute and whatnot. And instead leaving going, I'm not convinced those two liked each other. I'm not convinced that the writers like women. I'm not convinced that I should have seen that movie. Smiles are for joy.
Yeah. Hear, hear.